Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Arjun Chaudhary. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Thursday, the 16th of October. India sends out strong message to China, says it cannot be threatened. Rescue teams look for survivors. A death toll in Nepal snowstorm rises to 21. And exit polls give edge to BJP in Maharashtra and Haryana. And now for all the details. Two of India's major provinces voted in assembly elections on Wednesday. Exit polls are suggesting that Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party will win in both Maharashtra and Haryana, changing decades-old political scenarios in both.
Results for the closely watched election contest in the states of Maharashtra and Haryana will be out on Sunday. But most exit polls conducted late on Wednesday showed that the BJP, with its investor-friendly image, would emerge as the best-performing party.
महाराष्ट्र में एग्जिट पोल आ रहे हैं या जो हरियाणा में आ रहा है वो सच्चाई है और सच्चाई वो जमीन की है और लोग चाहते हैं कि महाराष्ट्र में 15 साल से कांग्रेस पार्टी और एनसीपी के कुशासन से मुक्ति मिले और हरियाणा में 10 सालों से.
Some of that predicted BJP success is being attributed to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Prime Minister addressed 27 rallies on several days leading up to the polls, which were widely seen as a litmus test of his party's popularity. Earlier in the year, the BJP did poorly in by-elections for which the Prime Minister did not campaign. The opposition Congress party had ruled the two provinces with local allies for decades before this election, and they are not admitting defeat yet.
एग्जिट पोल पर पूरा भरोसा नहीं किया जा सकता है, लेकिन 19 तारीख बहुत दूर नहीं है. नतीजे 19 तारीख को आ जाएंगे और पता चल जाएगा कि महाराष्ट्र और हरियाणा के लोग क्या चाहते हैं.
Assembly elections are important because they help determine the share of seats a party has in the upper house of India's parliament. Currently, the BJP is a minority there, but gaining ground in the upper house will make it easier for the government to pass legislation.
The BJP has been a re-energized party since its victory in the general elections in May this year. Its new confidence saw it contest provincial polls alone without traditional allies. So now all eyes are looking ahead to Sunday to see whether or not that move will pay off. Anjali Mathai for South Asia Newsline, New Delhi.
The death toll in the latest snowstorm that hit the Himalayas in western Nepal rose to 21 on Thursday. Search teams continue to look for more bodies as 85 others still remain missing.
Army and civilian rescue workers kept looking for survivors of one of the worst string of snowstorms that hit various parts of Manang district on Wednesday. Several foreigners were killed, including an Indian, 4 Canadian, 3 Polish, 3 Israelis and 1 Vietnamese. 3 yak herders also died in the same district about 100 miles northwest of capital Kathmandu. Their bodies were recovered on Wednesday. Army helicopters are shifting injured survivors to local hospitals in Kathmandu. The unseasonal blizzard in the popular trekking route was reportedly brought by the tail end of cyclone Hudhud that struck eastern India over the weekend. Nepal faces regular avalanches and snowstorms every year. Its Mount Everest faced the deadliest single-day death toll in its history after an avalanche struck its perilous passage called the Khumbu Icefall in April this year, killing 16 Sherpas. This had irked the Sherpa community, exposing an undercurrent of resentment over their security, pay and benefits given by the government.
India on Thursday said China should take initiatives to resolve the border dispute between the two countries. This comes after Beijing expressed concern over New Delhi constructing a road near its international border.
India has come out strongly against China's objection on the proposed road construction in its northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh. Federal Interior Minister Rajnath Singh said no country can intimidate India and both countries should sit together and solve the border issue.
भारत दुनिया का कोई भी देश वार्निंग इस समय नहीं दे सकता. भारत दुनिया का एक ताकतवर देश बन चुका है और जहां तक इंडो चाइना बॉर्डर डिस्प्यूट का सवाल है, मैं समझता हूं कि चाइना को भारत के साथ बैठना चाहिए और इस डिस्प्यूट को रिजॉल्व करना चाहिए.
Chinese Foreign Ministry had on Wednesday reacted to India's plan of constructing a network of roads along the McMahon line that separates the two countries. The ministry spokesperson Hong Lai said any such move will complicate the situation in the region.
中印边界问题是殖民主义者给我们留下的问题，中印双方要共同来解决好这一问题。中印东段边界存在着争议，在边界争议问题解决之前，我们希望印度方面不要采取使有关问题进一步复杂化的行动，以利于维护当前边境地区和平安宁的局面，为边界问题的最终解决创造条件。
The fresh dispute comes in the backdrop of a Chinese army incursion into Indian territory during the visit of Chinese President Xi Jinping to India last month. The Chinese Premier, along with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, had agreed to resolve all outstanding issues, including the border dispute.
The Election Commission of Pakistan, or ECP, has suspended the parliamentary membership of 209 lawmakers. This comes after the electoral representatives failed to disclose the asset details to the election watchdog.
The ECP on Wednesday sent letters to the speakers of the National Assembly, the Senate and provincial assemblies asking for the listed members to be barred from functioning. The country's apex election body took the extreme step after elected representatives refused to submit their asset whereabouts even after repeated requests. According to the ECP rules introduced in 2002 by then President Pervez Musharraf, parliamentarians are required to submit details of their assets, that of their spouse and children, to the ECP by September 30th. But the law has never been strictly enforced in the past. Many political parties, including Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, has been demanding electoral reforms in the country to give more powers to the Election Commission.
India scripted yet another success after launch its third navigation satellite, moving closer to setting up its own navigation system at par with the GPS of the US. The satellite IRNSS-1C on board its PSLV rocket was set off by the Indian Space Research Organisation, or ISRO, from its spaceport in southern Sriharikota early on Thursday. 20 minutes after the launch, the 3,142-pound satellite was successfully placed on the intended orbit. It is a third of the 7 series of satellites ISRO is planning to launch to put in place as part of what it's called the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System. The previous 2 IRNSS were launched in July 2013 and April this year. Navigation payload will transmit navigation service signal to the users. The Hurriyat Conference is outrightly supporting several militant organizations in the name of relief in the flood-hit Jammu and Kashmir. It is now raising money to help in funding terror in the valley.
Rescue and relief work by national and international organizations is helping the disaster-struck state to gain back its lost sheen. But as the floodwaters recede, separatist groups seem to be working out a different game plan altogether. The Hurriyat Conference and the Jammu Kashmir Liberation Front, or JKLF, have suddenly sprung into action to collect funds in the name of relief. Many believe the separatist leaders, who remained conspicuous by their absence during the catastrophe and its aftermath, are now raising money to help other terrorist organizations. According to reports, the Hurriyat siphoned off the funds brought in from several Islamic countries for assisting in rehabilitation work. It further channelized it towards funding the banned terror outfits like the Jamaat-e-Islami or JUD and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Analysts say the flood relief is a cover-up by the Hurriyat to help these militant groups to spread separatist agenda in the Kashmir Valley.
Funding its operations, various operations, and it is funding various organizations which are detrimental to the interest of the valley and interest of the India. So it is following its own agenda.
The Hurriyat leaders have in the past collaborated with militant outfits across the border in Pakistan too. In February this year, Saeed Ali Gilani, Mirwaiz Omar Farooq and Shabir Shah had addressed a JUD rally in Multan, strengthening their growing allegiance with the dreaded militia. The JUD is the charity wing of banned terror outfit Lashkar-e-Toiba or LET. New Delhi has repeatedly raised concerns about the unbridled activities of the Dawa even after it was designated as a terror organization by the United Nations. The militant group is blamed for the November 2008 attacks on India's financial hub Mumbai that killed 166 people, including 6 Americans. Its chief, Hafiz Saeed, who also has a US bounty of $10 million, runs many terror camps across Pakistan in the guise of seminaries and religious centers. Despite mounting evidence, Islamabad has failed to act against Saeed, who continues to move freely across Pakistan, spewing venom against the US and India.
A Grand Tribal Council of the Internally Displaced Persons or IDPs in Pakistan's volatile tribal areas said they will protest in capital Islamabad seeking rehabilitation. The tribesmen said on Wednesday that both the federal and Fatah administrations have failed to address the issues properly and urged the government to set a time frame for their return. The Jamaat-e-Islami had last week given a one-month deadline to the government to rehabilitate the IDPs, failing which it will also join the ongoing protests in Islamabad. Thousands of tribesmen from Fatah were forced out of their homes after the military crackdown against the Pakistan Taliban began in June. They have been living in makeshift shelters in neighbouring provinces ever since. With the winters approaching and the army claiming that nearly 90% of the areas have been cleared of the Taliban, the IDPs have stepped up demand to let them go back to their homes. India's fashion circuit is abuzz with its new creations as the ramp boasted of a soothing and softer colour palette. Take a look at the latest trends this season.
Ahead of the winter stepping in, fashion got a new dimension with designers going bold and beautiful with their collections. The Wills Lifestyle India Fashion Week 2015 saw a riot of fresh prints on pastel colour palette as its latest spring-summer edition turned towards capital New Delhi. Elements like romance, illusion, beauty and vivacity dominated the runway when designers Manish Gupta and Samant Chauhan showcased their collections evoking the true essence of womanhood. Gupta's work, entitled Florence, included handmade dresses in floral motifs and used hues like lemongrass, misty blue, beige, pale yellow and ivory in abundance. Chauhan's dream was all about clean, glamorous cuts and detailing. The designer, who works for the cause of his native Bhagalpur's master weavers, took it further at the gala by promoting the age-old craft technique in silk fabric.
Like a lot of heavy things, it's all about dream and the war is over, so it's all about happiness. That was the thing you can see like a lot of color in my collection this time.
Kavita Bhartiya's collection, titled Out of the Karkhana to the Runways, was inspired by the chintz design's originally glazed calico textiles. One witnessed a variety of dyeing and printing techniques in fabrics that varied from khadi, cotton, georgette and summer lace. Designer Malini Ramani, best known for creating resort wear, chose to go the Indian way in her collection Glamourette that consisted of saris in abundance with thigh-high slit and figure-hugging dresses. While black remained the dominant color, she also played with pink. Pankaj and Nidhi's designs had classic vintage components including delicate laces, cross-stitch embroidery and intricate silk threadwork. The duo also played with texturing, sheer details and asymmetry. Floral influences ruled the motifs, yet geometry and mirroring found a piece in each garment.
Our collection was called the Vintage Closet, and it was everything vintage done in a modern way, and our signature techniques revived and done in a sort of pastel color palette, which is new for us.
Designer duo Gauri and Nanika paid an ode to Mother Nature, focusing on global warming and the crisis facing the planet. The dresses and gowns were presented in vivacious prints showing melting ice caps, gas emissions and drought, demonstrating the catastrophic contributors to the issue of global warming. They used fashion as a viable medium to make people realize the side effects of such conditions. The week-long fashion gala had a lineup of 124 designers showcasing their summery collections.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. India sends out strong message to China, says it cannot be threatened. Rescue teams look for survivors as death toll in Nepal's snowstorm rises to 21. And exit polls give edge to BJP in Maharashtra and Haryana. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.